Hello and welcome to another video with Econ Elastic. I'm Joe and that is Andrew on your screen. So in today's video, we're going to be doing more of a generic topic. So we're going to be doing top 5 things to know before you go to university. So Andrew, what is the first one?
Number one. So, in fact, before we go into number one, actually, we'll give you just a little bit of background on the different perspectives that we've got. So I actually moved out to a different city and lived in halls for university. So like the generic kind of way that you see people doing university. Joe did a bit different. You stayed home, didn't you?
Yes, stayed. So we both went to Nottingham Trent University. So I lived in Derby, so I could just easily commute. So that's what I did. And Andrew, where did you live? Yorkshire?
I'm from Preston, so it was a fair drive, fair journey over to Nottingham. So obviously we have different perspectives on this. So I suppose that's why you might find some good value in this video. So on to number one. Number one is throw yourself into that first week or 2 weeks in freshers. Even if you consider yourself to be an introvert, which I do at least at first before I get to know people. I do like you, but you've still got to put yourself out there. Can't just stay in your room, even if you feel nervous, you feel scared, you miss home, whatever it is. You've got to get yourself out of your room, in and meeting your flatmates. Go to society opening days and taster sessions and really try and talk to as many people in your course as possible, like as best as you possibly can. Throw yourself out there and get to know as many people as you can. It is easy to make friends in that first few weeks. I mean, throughout university, to be honest, because everyone's in the same position, aren't they?
Yeah, so my experience was a little bit different to that, because obviously I was living at home, so I didn't do as much as the fresher stuff as most people did. So, but having said that, I did, put myself out there on my course to make friends, because that was obviously the only way I was going to.
How we met as well.
Yes, that's how we met.
So we just spoke in the corridor, didn't we? Just like I say, you've got to try and speak to as many people as possible.
It was just love at first sight. So, literally all my friends at uni, it was just like random nights out. It was meeting like friends of friends and stuff, and I'm still in touch with them and still go out with them now. So yeah, it is actually quite easy to make friends, even if you don't live in halls, in my personal opinion. So the next little section of this is
the last couple of snippets still on that first like couple of weeks or first term kind of thing, throwing yourself out there. Freshers wristbands, don't bother with them. They're too rigid. You'll end up paying for nights out that you don't go on. You might have a wristband that says you've got to go on this night out on this night, but the rest of your flat actually want to go on a different night out. You'll still be able to get into, I guarantee, almost every night that you want to go on, just getting tickets on the door or or beforehand or whatever. You don't need the wristband. Don't bother spending your money on it.
Yeah, and another little point is freshers flu. Again, I didn't really get freshers flu because I actually went home and slept in a nice bed and didn't get woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, exactly. Which is everyone was quite envious of me actually at the time, to be fair. So, but I know, Andrew, you did get a bit of freshers.
Yeah, so you kind of think it's not a thing, and you always hear about it. Everyone says about, oh, you'll get freshers flu, and you think, oh, no, that's not a real thing. And you do, almost everyone gets ill, not necessarily in that first couple of weeks, but I'd almost certainly say in that first term. I think mine came like a month or maybe even 2 months after freshers itself. And I just remember being hit like a ton of bricks by something. I can't even remember what it was, but I lived in the same building as the sort of GP surface for the university students. And I could barely make it from my flat in the same building down the stairs to this GP centre. I was on my arse, just crawling. I had no idea what had happened, but I felt horrific for a few days. It passes, but almost everyone will get hit by some form of freshers flu. It's pretty much unavoidable, isn't it?
It is. So the next point number 2, is balance. So we took the first year fairly seriously. We want to get good grades. Our course, our first year didn't actually count to our overall grade. Again, might be different from different courses. Well, again, our experience is quite a few courses don't. I mean, I took it really seriously, more seriously than Andrew. Probably.
That's a serious accusation. we both took it very seriously, and we both put probably too much pressure on ourselves, to be honest. Every single assignment, anything that was graded, we wanted to get like 100%, really, whether we did or we didn't on every single assignment. That's what we wanted, that we put that pressure on ourselves to get like full marks from the get-go. And while it did put us in good stead, didn't it? Gave us 100% head into years 2 and 3. It was probably not necessary. It probably added too much stress for that first year, where we could have, let ourselves go a little bit and gone on a few more nights out and enjoyed ourselves that side of things a bit more. Looking back, we just probably put too much pressure on ourselves.
I mean, for me, for me personally, I still did go on a few nights out, don't get me wrong, but I would have gone out on more.
That's it. We still went on plenty nights out, but you do only get one chance at university. Everyone always says, your mum, your dad, older mates or whatever, people always say, you'll regret not going out more in uni, or you only get one shot at uni. And it is true. You can't live literally every day like that. You can't go out every single night, but you just don't need to put as much pressure on yourself as maybe we did. Take your studies seriously, get in good habits, but make sure you do enjoy yourself.
I mean, I missed out on
find that balance, which is what the main point is.
Exactly. And I found, I missed on some personal things, personal events that I wish I, were there for now, because I sacrificed that time to do studying. And again, just looking back on it, it just wasn't necessary. And also, it just created too much stress for no reason whatsoever. And again, if you get into good revising techniques, which me and Andrew did, that's great. That's what we sort of saying. But then to take it to the nth degree of stressing over exams that don't even count doesn't even make sense.
That's kind of our takeaway in it from our experiences.
There is one slight caveat to it, as everything, and it is called balance. So I know a few people in the first year that went out literally every night or most nights, and they were unable to shake that habit in the second year. And
when things do start kicking up a bit, getting serious, and
then they didn't do as well in the second year as they should have done, not because they're not capable or the work they were doing in the second year, but it was because of the first year taught them bad habits. And then the problem is with that, it then puts massive pressure on the third year for you to do really well. So there is like the
third year is stressful enough without added pressure of you flunking your second year.
Whereas mine and Andrew's second year was very good because we had a good first year. And so the third year it was like obviously pressure, but even so,
we'd set ourselves up well. We'd set ourselves up for success, and we've got all the right practices in place to succeed from that point on. So the third point is one that really is based off my experiences because Joe didn't move out. But it's about how much you take when you move out. And to put it like into perspective, if you go away on holiday for 1 week, how many of you overpack? I know I do. I'm sure you do, Joe. I do it every single time. I overpack. I take things that I never wear on holiday, and that's just for a 1 week period. So if you're thinking of moving out and you're thinking, you're going to be there for 8 to 10 month stretch or whatever it is of the year, if you overpack in that same nature, you will literally just uproot everything from your home and take it to uni. And it's too much. You don't need everything. There's so much you'll end up taking. You think, I might wear that, or, I might need that. And you take it and it'll just go there. It'll clutter up your room. It'll make moving out and then moving in a real stressful ordeal, that it could be made easier by just taking the essentials, just take what you need. You probably nip back home at some point and you can bring stuff back with you, or your parents will come and visit you one weekend and they can bring something. If you really overlook something, you'll probably buy stuff as you go along. So don't overpack. I've learned this even after uni, and moving between flats now and then, that you just don't need to take absolutely everything with you.
To be fair, I actually did live out in the third year. And I did have to take everything for personal reasons. So the stress of moving everything in.
Firsthand
horrendous.
How difficult it is.
Yeah. So the next point is money. Very important at university. So
how to manage your money.
So me and Andrew got a little bit different perspectives on this. So I had a part-time job all the way through uni. Again, that was easy for me because I was living back home. So I was just able to do that over the weekend. But we both agree that trying to get a part-time job before you go to university is pretty key. And to be fair, I can't believe you could live.
Obviously, massively depends on personal circumstances, doesn't it? If you have someone that can fund university life, fair enough. Yeah. But most people need some financial security going into it.
I mean, I don't know anybody who doesn't have a job at that age at part-time anyway. But anyway, so so that will, be a little bit of backup for you. And then I would say working a job at university isn't the worst thing either, because I found it was actually time away from university work, from everything, a bit of normal reality a little bit. And sort of a bit of escapism in a weird way. Not doing loads of hours, only did about.
I can definitely see it acting like that for a lot of people, to be fair.
Yeah. So I only did about 6 to 8 hours, I think, a week. So it was only a short one shift. So once you started doing like loads of shifts, then I say no, don't do it. Supermarkets probably the best ones to go for, to be honest.
Yeah, good ones are usually readily available. Yeah. My perspective is a little bit different to Joe's. So same reason, as in we had part-time job. I had a part-time job running up to going to university, that allowed me to save up for that first term or first couple of terms, and then I'd work when I went back home at Christmas, Easter and summer to sort of fund each term, or at least part fund it, and that allowed me to not have a job at university. And I preferred that setup. That was just my personal preference. I kind of think, you can make money anywhere down the line. You can make money at any age and throughout your life, but you can't go back and redo university. So if possible, if your personal circumstances allow it and you can work in breaks between terms like I did, or, obviously if you've got people with money backing you, I would say to try and just enjoy your university life and just to immerse yourself in all the activities and nights out and whatever that you can while you're there. I think having, like Joe said, that discipline of having a job, it is great, and it will set you up as well for real life. And that's why I like doing it when I went home at every break. I needed to do it to fund myself going back to university, but I did it so I didn't have to work at university and I could just have the free time and do what I wanted when I wanted, basically.
Yeah. And so moving on to our final point, which is about switching courses. So Andrew was a bit of a dropout at the start of university, and that's the only reason why we met. So Andrew, how was it?
So basically, the point is, number 5 is, don't be afraid or disheartened if you want to switch courses. So my experience was I did accounting for a couple of weeks. Just wasn't quite right for me. It was very, very numbers based, which was what I was good at and what I'd done previously, but I just didn't want it. I just didn't want any more of it. I realized once I'd started the course, I wanted something that was going to throw me out of my comfort zone a little bit, do something a bit more conceptual, like long writing answers where there's no right or wrong answer. And economics kind of fitted that bill. Yeah. And I think what our advice was, if anywhere up to sort of a month, within that first term, you should be able to switch course and catch up, because you had the experience, didn't you, Joe, with some of the friends that you had with economics.
So mate Dermo, he did economics A level, but so found the first term quite boring because he was just basically relearning what he did at A level. Whereas I
Because
did,
every course
yeah,
starts off as if you've never done that course before.
yeah, you've got
And
to
that's
start off with the base knowledge. Otherwise,
exactly.
obviously, you know, it's just going to be mayhem. So
neither of us had ever done economics before, so
No.
that first term really set us up to flourish in the next few terms and years, obviously, that we were there. But for some people that had done A-level economics, that first term was very boring for them. It was just doing stuff they'd already done. So that's why I think within that first month, we'd say you should be fine. If you wanted to switch courses, you'd be able to catch up. You wouldn't be that far behind. You're far better taking that leap at that point and doing a course that you're really going to enjoy or that you find interesting or you've got a passion in or whatever it is. Don't stress too much about it. Basically, if you get there, the course wasn't quite what you were expecting, but you still like your university, you like your flat, you like your surroundings and your mates, whatever. You stay at that university, just find a course that better suits you. Don't panic about it. It's not a big deal. Obviously, if you wanted to drop out or switch unis, we've got no personal experience with that. I'm sure that's probably more stressful, not impossible, but more stressful. But don't put too much pressure on it. If you're umming and ahhing about whether it was the right course for you in the first place, it's not the end of the world if you wanted to switch. As long as we'd say, like, you should try and do it within that first month and you'd be absolutely fine.
Yeah, and I think just as a parting comment from me is that just when you go, don't try and compare yourself to people. Don't compare yourself to friends. Just try and relax. And I know some of the stories I've heard, people crying and people, getting really stressed about going to university, missing home and stuff. It's perfectly natural.
I did it in my first night at uni. Like, I was just had a bit of a shit. I just felt overwhelmed. Like, I was like, oh God, like my parents left. I was sat in my room. I was like, oh my God, I've never lived out before. Don't know any of the people I'm living with. And then one of my mates was actually at university and like kind of dragged me out, just threw me into the communal area of my flat and just started speaking. Everyone's in the same boat. Like I say, I'm more of an introvert to begin with. I'm sure a lot of people are the same, but so many people are in the same boat. You're gonna find people that you click with at uni. It just happens. Like, it's the best time of your life, really.
I was gonna say, university years, looking back, I had some great laughs, and you just got to enjoy the ride, the stress, and just get through it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for watching. If you've got any comments or any questions or anything like that, then obviously please leave them in the comments. Please check out our website, which we'll leave in the link below.
Also, just to get a quick advert in there, if you are switching to an economics course or doing an economics course, go and check out our economic videos on our website.
Tutorial videos, they will massively help you out.
Definitely.
Thanks for watching.
Cheers.